Well, welcome to Mining Now, and we're filming this from the CIM in Montreal, a very busy convention, exciting. And I'm your host, Roy Slack. And for this episode, we're featuring Optis Engineering, and we're joined by the co-founder and president of the company, François Bolduc-Teasdale. Let's start the show.
All right.
Welcome, François.
Well, thank you for having me.
And we were talking a little bit earlier, but interested in a little bit about your personal background. So how did you get into this technology revolution?
Yes. Well, I'm a mechanical engineer for a background. I did my bachelor's degree at Sherbrooke University. This is the city I come from. So, yeah. And then I continued. I always had a big interest for aerospace, aviation. So I did a minor in aeronautics during my bachelor. And this brought me to work on several aerospace-related projects, internships. So I continued. I actually did one internship in Atlanta, Georgia, at Georgia Tech, as part of my bachelor's degree co-op program. And I loved it there. I loved the laboratory. I loved the work I did. So I applied for a master's there and ended up doing a master's in aerospace engineering as well. And yeah, that's my background in a nutshell.
Oh, excellent. And we were talking about motorcycles before the show. So
Yes.
mechanical engineer in a motorcycle doesn't surprise me. That's great. And yeah, well, you mentioned you're from Sherbrooke, and Optis was founded in 2015 in Sherbrooke, just down the road from Montreal. So how did the company come to be?
Well, actually, I was still in Atlanta when we founded the company. I was with two fellow student workers, friends. We studied together, and we graduated in 2015, right? So right upon graduation, we were so excited, motivated. We just learned a bunch of new concepts, a bunch of new optimization theories, decision-making approach. While in an aerospace background, what we learned was really about system optimization, right? Multidisciplinary system optimization. And we said, oh, wow, we have all of these tools now. We need to get those tools out there and help companies drive innovation and put new technologies in the market. So that was really the idea behind founding the company. I'm sorry. So we basically graduated, incorporated the company, and I was the first employee, and we hit the ground running right in 2015.
Well, that's pure entrepreneurship. That's
Yes.
from 0 to
Yep.
60 miles an hour.
It was really the typical, startup in the basement, working on a small computer, trying to get things going from the start, right? So
Very
yeah,
exciting.
yeah, it was a great adventure.
Well, yeah, congratulations to you and your I was going to say schoolmates, but partners.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you came back to Sherbrooke. You came back home.
Yeah, we came back home.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, there was a bunch of we wondered, right? Do we stay in the U.S.? Do we go international? But we made the decision to come back in Quebec because there's such a nice innovation, I would say, drive,
Yeah.
right? In Canada and
And
Quebec.
support. Yeah.
And support.
Yep.
We have the University of Sherbrooke in our backyard. One of my partner was he is a school professor in mechanical engineering at the university.
Yeah.
So we had that synergy with the university, the students, the interns, the research, the facilities. So there was a lot of leverage to be done in Sherbrooke. So that's why we decided to come back home.
Let's talk about our heavy industry tour brought to you by Savannah Equipment, supplying mining equipment worldwide, and Corporate Traveler Canada, helping companies travel the globe simpler, faster, and easier. We are heading to events across North America, Africa, and Australia, and filming episodes on location. Email us at info@crownsman.com to be part of Crownsman's Heavy Industry World Tour. SafeSite has developed a suite of innovative technologies focused on step change improvements that impacts vertical mining, shaft measurement, underground mapping and survey, mine rescue, and emergency response underground. SafeSite solutions introduce new possibilities in approach and efficiency while keeping every site safer. SafeSite solutions deliver valuable data that can quickly be turned into actionable decision data that allows effective and safe operation. Digital guide alignment will reduce shaft maintenance costs, underground mapping drone technology that removes shadows for 100% accurate reconciliation, and mine rescue drones that extend the reach and range of responders on surface and underground. Visit SafeSiteXP.com for more info. At OIM Consulting, they drive profitability by building your supervisory capability. They equip the people who carry your culture, engage your teams, and ensure that daily targets are achieved. If you want measurable operational results, visit oimconsulting.com. Analyze, improve, sustain. North Isle's mission is to be Canada's leading sustainable resource company and is on the TSX Venture Exchange under the symbol NCX. North Isle owns the North Island Project, the most developable copper gold project in Canada. The North Island Project has compelling project economics, is near infrastructure, has tremendous exploration upside, and has leading edge Indigenous engagement and support from all levels of government. 2023 could be the biggest year yet. Learn more by visiting northisle.ca or by calling them at 778-638-2515 or emailing them at info@northisle.ca.
So your company's been involved in other industries. We're at a mining conference, but so what are you developing? What products are you looking at?
All right. So basically, since 2015, we've been working on rotating machines. So this is really what we're all about. This was part of my background as a student, and it now is as a professional. So we're working on fans, on pumps, rotors, propellers, compressors, no matter the industry, right? So when we initially started in 2015, like we just graduated from aerospace. So we wanted to work in the aerospace sector. So we were looking for, blade optimization, propeller optimization, rotor
Yeah.
optimization. This was really the drive behind the company. Because rotors, propellers are a complex thing. It's sort of a unique, it's a unique thing to optimize. You got the operation, the design. It's really a special multidisciplinary problem that's really interesting when you couple it with propulsion device and you try to get the best out of these systems. So that's really the line that we were taking. But the first projects we had in 2015, starting the company, we had a call from a friend, and he told us about a fan breaking up in a mine, right?
I just made a note of that. I saw a fan disintegrate.
Oh,
And so
really?
I know what you're talking about. It's the power involved and the forces are very complex.
It is powerful. Those are big machines,
Yeah.
and they are critical to the mining operations,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And when we got that project, we saw they sent us a picture. It was a model of a fan, like a 3D model.
Mhm.
They said, "This blade keeps breaking up. Could you help us?" And we saw the size of the blade. You can't really tell the size on a 3D model, right?
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
have no scale. So we said, it's probably like a, I don't know, maybe a 50 centimeter, like
Okay. Yeah.
like a small fan. And they said, maybe you should come to
Yeah.
the site. We'll fly you up.
Yeah.
Come and see the fan and the environmental conditions where it operates. And oh my God, we got there. Those were 3,000 horsepower fans,
Yeah.
10 feet diameter. This was really impressive.
Yeah.
And we saw the operating condition. So these fans are aluminum blade with aerospace grade coatings. They operate in acidic environment. The mine goes down to more than 3 kilometers deep, one of the deepest in the Western Hemisphere in the world. So we thought, oh my God, this is a challenging problem. This is not a easy fix, right?
Yeah.
You can't just
Yeah.
tell this is the problem. So we really took a scientific approach to the problem. And from that day, we just fell in love with the mining sector, right? Looking at these
Yeah.
challenging environmental conditions, the safety aspects involved,
Yeah.
the efficiency that needs to be associated with these machines that basically run 24/7. Yeah, and we're still working in the aerospace today, but the big concentration of activity, the bigger proportion of our activity right now is mining for sure.
Well, what you described, and we mentioned it earlier because I was really interested on your website, the comment about agile innovation.
Yep.
And I think you just described that in looking at a problem and how do you fix it. And it's such a critical part of the mine. You don't have a lot of time to
Yep.
spend on optioneering.
It needs to work,
Yeah.
right? It just needs to work.
Yeah.
But it needs to work now, and it needs to last because you don't want to stop, right? You don't want to
Yeah.
have to stop the operation. You don't want to have an equipment failure.
Yeah.
And it's really similar to aerospace in that respect, right? So safety is critical and uptime is critical,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
we have the same level of, I'd say, rigor going into the work.
Yeah. So again, from your website,
Yep.
and I found this interesting, and you thought this was just the way things are done. But uh, research and development in our industry is often one group,
Yeah,
and innovation or commercialization is often another group. But in your company, in your case, it's all just naturally seems to be under one roof.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they go hand in hand, basically. Um, when you're doing the research, and this is part of my background and the background of all of our team members, actually. When you're doing the research, it feels like you're, exploring new ideas. It's a balance between learning new concepts, gaining new knowledge, and applying to challenges or problems that you're facing. So working across various sectors, aerospace, mining, industrial work, we see a tons of concepts and ideas that come from various background uh, that can solve various needs, right? So for us, doing the research part of it, gaining this knowledge from various sectors, and then applying it to develop a technology. Well, innovation kind of comes naturally, right?
Yeah.
Because we get all of these ideas. It's really about bridging those ideas, bridging the gaps, the technology gaps,
Yeah.
and getting new technology to market. So I can't see it work uh, any other way, right?
Your trusted partner of choice, Best Tech Engineering, is excited to announce that they have acquired Spencer Engineering. This allows Best Tech to add mine hoist expertise to their existing suite of services, including mining, power, electrical, instrumentation and automation, mechanical, and structural divisions. This diversification will offer clients the highest level of service and value for their projects. Don't miss out on this exciting new chapter of engineering excellence. Reach out today at besttech@besttech.com to learn how Best Tech can help you. As your mining projects accelerate, so should your technology. Micromine is a leading software provider to the global mining industry with solutions that support the entire life cycle from early exploration to advanced mine operation. Micromine enables explorers to prospect smarter, model faster, and estimate with greater confidence. They empower mining engineers to optimize strategic mine planning, streamline design, and schedule faster. Micromine's technology supports even the largest mines to gain greater operational control and boost performance. And they provide mining teams with reliable data management solutions to enhance insights, meet compliance, and safeguard digital assets. To learn how Micromine's next generation technology can help you, visit their website at micromine.com today. Introducing the SolarSet Fold. The new foldable frame solar system brings power to your residential and commercial property and can be shipped worldwide. Like all SolarSet products, the SolarSet Fold comes turnkey, pre-assembled, and is easily transported and installed. Learn more about SolarSet Fold and their full line of amazing solar systems at solarset.com.
So you've talked about some projects where you innovated solutions, and I imagine you were able to take those solutions and take them to the market.
Yeah, absolutely. So as I was saying earlier, so we started as a service-based company, and we were really like we saw ourselves as a SWAT team, going on site,
Okay, I like that.
fixing the problem,
Yeah.
and getting things done, right? So you can have more uptime, so the equipment can work. And so we found ourselves going a lot on site, going a lot underground, fixing problems, and we saw opportunities to automate things, right? So instead of taking measurements, maybe we could have had a sensor here. Instead of analyzing the data ourselves, maybe you can apply AI to analyze that data and do the legwork for us,
Yeah.
right? So over the last couple of years, we developed softwares, monitoring softwares, and that's what we're launching today at CIM Expo 2023.
Yeah.
So we're launching our software LiveFlow. So it's a monitoring software for fans and pumps. So critical fans and pump in the mining industry that needs to be running, right? That you can't afford for them to break down.
Yeah.
We're basically monitoring it and preventing any failures of these critical equipment, right? So going from the process of being a service-based company, learning the ropes of the industry, seeing that opportunity, developing the software, developing the technology, putting it into tests for the last couple of years,
Yeah.
seeing it working, and now launching it into the market. We've done the whole process, so it's really been a nice experience, and now we're looking forward to push this product further.
Okay. So I find this very interesting. This product, um, it uh, it will help when it comes to maintenance, but I imagine it can also help you optimize your ventilation systems and
Yeah.
probably your power use and maybe
Absolutely.
some economic benefits.
Absolutely. As long as you're doing the monitoring of the equipment, right?
Yeah.
We have all of this data coming in. So vibration, temperature,
Okay.
airflow. So it really becomes it comes to a point that you not only monitor the health of the equipment, but the performance of the equipment and the energy efficiency
Yeah.
of that equipment. So it's basically it's a no-brainer of looking at all the energy lost in that machine running 24/7 and asking the question, what can I do to make it more efficient, make it better, save some energy here and
Yeah.
there, right?
Yeah.
So for example, a fan, like a main fan that runs 24/7, a 3,000 horsepower, 5,000 horsepower fan, this is a lot of power. Just in terms of electricity, this is about $1 million a year for a 5,000 horsepower fan. So when you get to these 5% gain, 10% gain on efficiency, this is major saving for a mining company, $50,000 to $100,000, right?
Yeah. Exactly. And I don't know if you've gone to remote mine sites, but
Yeah,
any group that's using diesel to generate power,
yeah,
if they're not on a grid, that's 5 times the cost,
yeah.
power cost.
These numbers go way up.
Yeah.
Yeah, the figure I just said was for,
Was for a
typical
grid
rate, grid-based.
supplied. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. So you're right. When you go into diesel generators in the north, like in Nunavut,
Yep.
the savings are even bigger,
Yeah.
right? And this applies to, main fans, but we talked about pumps as well, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Oh, great. And I wrote down, I think you should put on your website SWAT team. I really like that. The innovation SWAT team. That's great. Uh, we touched on this a bit, but there's a great deal of focus in our industry about the environment and about safety. And what you're doing touches on all those things in different ways.
yeah, you're right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, safety is critical for as we discussed earlier, right? It relates a lot to aerospace in that aspect. So for mining, I'm always impressed by the level of care and attention given to safety, right? Everywhere we go, everything needs to be safe. We get trainings before we go on site and underground. So it's normal to have a software. Well, it makes sense for us to have a software that allows you to operate your machine as safely as possible. Avoid any failure, right?
Yeah.
You've got employees working right on the side of these equipment, right? You don't want anything failing and hurting someone, maybe, right? You want them to be able to operate the safest way possible. So in terms of safety, definitely important. When you get to the efficiency, I think it's a word we hear more and more in the mining sector, and I'm very happy to see that. That's why we partnered up in our software development, the LiveFlow software I was talking to you earlier. We've partnered up with a firm. They're based in Rouyn-Noranda. They're called BGI Analytics.
Okay.
And they come from the building energy efficiency monitoring world, right? So they're doing energy optimization of large commercial buildings, hospitals,
Okay.
and so forth. And they built that platform, and we basically took that platform and applied it to the mining world, right? So our software lives within that framework that is basically built
So
to drive
so
energy
they're
efficiency.
building the mine.
Exactly.
You've just taken what they. Oh, very
Yeah.
interesting.
So they're basically optimizing, fans, chillers, all the things that can make you save energy in a commercial building.
Yeah.
And we're building up we're putting it up to the mining world now,
Yeah.
right? So we're focusing on everything that drains energy in a mine. So you were talking about diesel. We can monitor diesel flows in the generators and have the quantity of fuel that is required to drive those fans or drive those pumps, right? The gas that is required to heat the air going into the shaft, right? So if you don't know the proper metrics, if you don't know what you're tracking, you can't optimize it.
Yeah.
So the first step is really about getting the data, putting it in front of you, and looking at those metrics, right? So how many kilowatts do I need to move that amount of CFMs? How many liters of diesel do I need to move that amount of water, right? And when you get those numbers up, it's like an obsession, right?
Yeah.
You want to optimize it. You want to reduce it. It's like your fuel efficiency meter in your car, right? You don't want it going up. You want it going down as much as possible. So that's what we're doing with the software.
So the software gets developed. I take the software and I apply it at my mine. Uh, where do we go from there? Are you coming in to help me analyze and optimize, or what's the next steps?
That's a very good question, because we've found over the years that it's not only about bringing the software up, putting it up and running and leaving, right? There needs to be some sort of collaboration and support to get things to work.
Yeah.
So the way we're working is we're really about connecting the experts with the machines, right? So going from the first steps, getting the software up and running, you always have that link with our team and the maintenance team, the engineers or the technicians at the mine, right?
Yeah.
So we send daily digest, right? Automated alerts, automated reports, and once a week we do a call or quick call or debrief in the first week or so to debrief and interpret the data. Okay, what's been sent, right?
Yeah.
What are we looking at?
Yeah.
Right? And if anyone has a question, we're always connected and we analyze the data. We have access to the same database, we have access to the same numbers, we have access to the reports, we filter everything. So basically, it's really, I found it to be a really nice collaboration. It's really like you become an extension of the team, right? And of the maintenance team or the engineering team. So they have this software, they can call us up, we look at the same data, we look at the same equipment, but they're really relying on us to, as expert, to tell them what's going on, right? So this vibration got up. Well, we're gonna assess the data and say, well, maybe it's your bearing, or maybe this is your oil pump that is
Yeah.
failing right now that you should take a look at, right?
So the parallels, because I'm in the project world.
Okay.
So we talk about project controls, but they're not really controls. It's data.
It
And
is.
it's what you do with that data that's important.
Yeah.
So the same thing here, you've got software in a system that can generate data, but like you said, the team on site is looking to you as experts on what does this data mean?
Yeah.
And then what's our next steps?
Yeah, and again, I was saying about the being an extension of the team. I guess when you're at the mine and your job is to, get things to work, right? So you get maintenance tasks. You need to work on this fan, this pump, and basically the end goal is to mine, right?
Yep.
Is to make the mine running.
Yep.
So you don't. I can understand that it's a lot of data. You can't make sense of all of that data. It gets overwhelming really quickly.
Yeah. Yeah.
And even for ourselves, that's why we develop those algorithms, those tools to get the right metrics out of that data and make sense of it.
Yeah.
Right. So what we're doing is basically grabbing all that data that is being gathered on a daily basis, make a digest, make sense of it, and then we interpret that data along with the maintenance team and the engineers. So these discussions become really interesting, right? Because when you look at the data and you have the chance to discuss it with the people at the mine, wow, now it gets powerful,
Yeah.
right? Because you can say, wow, this vibration here is correlated to maybe a truck passing by,
Yeah.
or this is correlated to temperature changes, or maybe some other operation going on in the mine. So it's really about this collaboration between, I'm analyzing the equipment, about the data on the field, what's going on,
Yeah.
and making sense of it together is when it gets powerful.
Yeah. So the people that understand the operations can say, well,
Yeah.
this truck is causing the problem. Well,
Yeah.
we don't need that truck to be on that roadway. We can rearrange our,
Yeah.
so yeah, together you can solve practical problems.
And I think that proximity is critical, right?
Yeah.
There is a lot of trends going on right now of people saying, all right, we're working with AI. This is fully automated. I'm going to give you a software. It's a no-brainer. You just leave it running. It's going to fix all your problems. It's like magic.
Yeah.
Not really, right?
Yeah.
Because when you pick up these vibrations, those things that are basically can be explained by some events or something went wrong, there was an outage of power in the mine.
Yeah.
That's what happened, right? So it's not a problem with the pump, it's not a problem with the fan, it's just something else that someone 1,000 miles away couldn't know,
Yeah.
right? So you need to have this collaboration to basically assess, all right, what happened? How does that impact the operation? And we're going to work from there, right? This is how I think you stay relevant in terms of providing a software and providing the right data and the right analysis.
Well, you're adding value. You're
Yeah.
not just adding information, you're adding value to the operations.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the overwhelming part, I totally get that. That's me. I'm one of those overwhelmed people when it comes to some of this technology. I'm always interested in this because you're working in other industries too.
Yep.
And the mining industry, traditionally it's been risk adverse in all areas, including technology and innovation. But you're seeing some things changing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, the project I was talking to you earlier in 2015 when we started the company, and we've been told, there's a problem. We need to fix the problem. Could you come on site? This has really been a revelation for us because my background again was aerospace. I worked in the gas turbine sector and the energy sector a bit, and the cycle time for innovations are rather long. There is a lot of innovation going on in these other sectors, right? Aerospace is one of the biggest investors in R&D and innovation in the world, right? So Quebec is a big leader in terms of innovation for the aerospace sector. But the cycle times are long, right? So there's the certification, the approbation, the
from
process
initial
itself.
concept to actual.
Yeah, and it is long for a reason,
utilized.
right?
Yep.
There's a lot of, the safety aspect is critical.
Yep.
This is normal. This is part of it. Well, in the mining sector, I can see this drive for technology adoption more and more. And since 2015, when we started, we came with new ideas, AI, machine learning, try to make sense of a lot of data, develop some multi-attribute decision-making tools that are based on, that are leveraging AI, new technologies that could be maybe, that could worry some people in other sectors because it's a lot of new things.
That don't
right?
understand it or haven't been exposed before.
Exactly,
Yeah.
right? And when we brought these ideas to the table, it was like, sure, try it, right? So we have a fan here. We can test it, right? So why not?
Yeah.
And
When you said you have a fan, I was thinking of your client.
yeah,
Sorry, that's my. But that's.
it's like a technology innovation sort of sandbox, right? Not to make any puns here, but you're really about, it's a secure environment. In the immediate, like in the short term, there's no really safety risk associated with that equipment. We can play with it, and we see more and more the mines like open their doors basically and say, hey, if you want to test something, come over and test it in our mine, right? So you can.
It's not a large investment. It doesn't interrupt production, and there's, if you get anything out of it, it's going to be an upside.
Exactly. Right.
So yeah.
And as long as we're not, interfering with the operations, and that's good, right? The operations are running, but we have a bunch of other levels and other floors that we could basically test technology, test sensors. We get the data, we can play with the data and have a sort of a technology sandbox. And I'm seeing a lot of young engineers coming into the mines, and they want technology. They want to make it better, right? We know that basically if we want to have a greener economy, we're going to need minerals, and part of those, getting those critical minerals, is through mining.
Yeah.
And we might as well make the mining industry greener itself, right?
Doing it safely and doing it responsibly.
Right, and the whole theme of this conference today is decarbonation, right, of the mining industry.
Yeah.
And when you look at this, all the young people that we're seeing on the floor today, it's all about making mining greener, making mining better.
Yeah.
And that's where we are, right? We're working with these young companies, getting equipment more efficient, optimizing operations.
Yeah.
This is really where we're heading, I think.
But when you say young people, when I go out there, most of the people on the floor are young people to me. So it's a relative term. But to finish off, any final thoughts? Anything you want to leave with our audience before we close off?
Again, I think it's really about what we just discussed. The drive for innovation. And again, you said young is relative, right? So I mean, young or old, I'm seeing a drive for new technologies and greening the mining sector, right? And it's really about mindset, not about age, right? It's really about a mindset of getting better and making this a more safe, a more clean, and a more reliable operations. And this is why we're so excited to work in that sector right now, right? Yes. Among all the other work that we're doing, we're seeing a lot of enthusiasm for technology adoption from our customers, from our partners. It's really exciting collaborations now, and I'm looking forward to the future. It's going to be even more exciting in the coming years.
Great. Well, your excitement's contagious. I really enjoyed our discussion, and thank you for your time today, Francois, and thank you to our audience for joining us on another great Mining Now show.